moving ahead in a tournament. Can you look back and say what it's like to be a teenager in big-time tennis? Are they unconscious at that age, just getting into a tournament?
Yeah, I mean, I think you don't. It's all so new and great, and so you don't really worry too much about the pressure and the attention that's going on. It's like, because it's all so new. But we have Wigmeyer, who's kind of in the same situation here as well. She's doing really good, and although I've loved watching Odin play, Wozniacki, Wigmeyer, it's so much fun for me to just watch them on TV and just see the emotions that come out of them when they win a match, and I get so happy when I just see that, So, but then again, I think I'm talking to like my coach and everyone. I'm like, wow, she's only 17, and then he was like, yeah, but you were like that, and you don't think like that at the moment. You just everything kind of happens, and you don't really think about the age or anything, unless like now that I'm older, I look back and I'm like, wow, they're young, and and you see that the new face that's still on there, and they enjoy everything so much in a different. They look at things in a different way when they get to a Grand Slam because it's so new, and that's something that I think in the beginning is really good for them. I think as they progress and they make a name on tour, I think that will change, and the pressure will gradually start to build in a little bit. But it's great what they're doing here. It's fun to watch for me as well.
Kim, do you in any way feel like one of those?
Sorry.
Do you
talk a little bit about your coach and the significance of the positive reinforcement before, during, and after a match?
Yeah, I've never been the kind of player who looks over to my box that much during a match. I'm really just trying to focus on myself. Just once in a while, when you get like into it and you kind of just throw some fist bumps to your box and everything. But I think it's mostly everything that happens around it. That's very important to me. With my coach was someone who I grew up with when I was younger, practiced with a lot, and so he knows me extremely well. And I think that's a great feeling to have, is that I'm able to share this kind of second career with him in this kind of situation. And especially now that we're doing well, it's just special, I think, for both of us that that we can share this together.
Kim, in a way, do you feel like one of those 17-year-olds now?
Maybe a little bit. The wow, like coming back and just seeing everybody again, and just that makes it all just so much more special. But then on the other hand, I think I have the experience of being in situations like that, and that doesn't mean that I have less nerves when I get to big points or big matches, but it does help having having been there, and that's something that yeah, again, it's just fun to watch those young girls, and just to see, like, even Odin, like how freely she plays at big points, and it's just so much fun to just see how she just goes for her shots every time.
So in a way, you have the best of everything now. You have.
Well, maybe we'll see.
You talked about the young, enthusiastic face of the 17-year-olds. And you also talk about the kind of tough face that Serena has, that she's come here to play. Two questions. Do you think over the years your face, so to speak, has changed in tennis? And second of all, how would you describe Serena's face?
I definitely think my face has definitely changed over the years. I think when I was 15, 16 coming on, I remember Wimbledon, when I did well there, I really had to stop myself from like asking everybody for autographs, in the locker room and everything. And I just remember just being so in awe with everything that was happening around me, and then playing on the center court and everything. It just overwhelms you a little bit, and you kind of just forget what you have to do out there to play good tennis. So that has definitely changed. I still have an immense respect for all the Grand Slams and the history that's happened in each and every one of them. But it's easier now to push that aside when you're out there and just focus on your game and not be too worried or too impressed by everything that's happening around you, how big the stadium is, what media attention, everything has an impact, I think, when you're younger. And so I definitely think my game, my face has definitely changed a little bit in that way. And then I think Serena, I remember playing against her here a few years ago, or many years ago, let's say. I think it was 2000 or 99 even, yeah, so 10 years ago. Where I was kind of in a similar situation as maybe Uden or someone, where you're up and you're playing those big matches, and but it was fun. I mean, it's just great. But that's where I first felt, the type of players that the type of player that Serena is, she was missing, a few more shots. I was kind of just, bringing a lot of balls back, and she was kind of missing them. But then at 5-2 in that third set where I was up, she just, bang, started going for aces, started hitting winners. Like, she just flicked, something switched in her head like that. And that's something that great players can do, and she definitely has it. So I think she's still capable of, when she wants to step it up. But I think the consistency in other tournaments hasn't always been there. But here, I mean, especially at the Grand Slams, they can really just step their game up. But you just have to just keep working and keep trying to get those chances out there.
It's so early in your comeback. Are you surprised to be sitting here where you are, or did you come into this figuring that you could make a serious run at the title?
No, I mean, I never had that kind of mentality before tournament, knowing that I was going to get to a semifinal or final at the Grand Slams. Obviously, so I definitely didn't have that idea, or that thought in my head now. But like I said before, something switched with me after Toronto, where I felt like, okay, I can compete with these girls, and because that was obviously a big question in my mind. Although I was hitting the ball really good in practice, and I felt physically I was doing well and everything, but you still want to know what it's like to play against those girls and get a feel for how the levels changed, how girls are playing different tennis maybe these days, and that was something that I didn't know either. And so I am surprised that I'm sitting here talking to you right now, but I'm very happy and flattered that I get to do that.
Kim, you're enjoying parenthood so much. I'm curious if you plan on having more children, and if so, ideally, when that might happen.
Well, we would love to have more children, obviously, but obviously that's not something that's going to happen anytime soon. But again, we don't really have a time schedule on that. I just, we'll just kind of see how everything goes, and then just go from there.
Kim, what was the length of time that you actually put down your racket, didn't pick it up to play again? What did that actually feel like to you, given that you had been, you haven't even answered?
I hit once with Caroline Mace, a friend of mine who played on tour a little bit. I think 3 months after I gave birth, and that was a big mistake because I was just, I mean, I was so frustrated after that. Because in my mind I still knew how to step forward, step back, move to the side and stuff, but just the connection from the brain to the body wasn't really there was nothing there. So that was kind of hard, and especially the movement as well. Your body just feels so different. So to me, that was I had a good feeling when the ball was coming towards me, but just moving was absolutely terrible. I felt like an elephant sometimes, just trying to move from take even 2 steps was terrible. And so then when I started at the start of this year, I kind of just had to mentally just be prepared for that as well, knowing that a lot of tests in the fitness or in the gym that I used to do were going to be a lot worse. And so you kind of just try to forget about the numbers and just start from 0 or even below 0, and just really step it up from there, and just watch the progress and just focus on the progress instead of thinking about how much worse it was than it used to be. So I think that was the biggest mental issue I think that I had to really push myself over, is not to worry about not getting back into shape as fast as I wanted to or something, because that was obviously was a new experience for me as well, and just to see how much the body changes was incredible.
Kim,
We'll take Dominique's question and then we'll take.
Is it difficult to play to give the best of yourself, but stop just at the limit, typical limit, and don't go after this limit?
Well, I mean, I believe that you shouldn't focus on stopping at your limit. I think you can always improve, and improve, where in a match you don't have to reach that far. I think that's why we train, and that's why we have, very intense workouts, months before you get to a tournament, is so that you can go out there and not worrying about, I'm getting close to my limit, I have to, slow down a little bit or anything. So I think that's something that is mentally very important, I think, for any player, is knowing that I've worked out a lot harder in practice or in the gym or anything, so I know that I'm capable of doing it during a match, whether it's a 3-set match or even for the men a 5-set match. So I think you really have to just trust yourself, I think, and have good people around you who can push you in a obviously not a crazy way, obviously in a very professional way, and knowing that and gradually build it up. You know, I think that's something that was also for me very important now, was that, you know, slowly I had to progress, and you know, although it was frustrating for me at times because I just wanted to just go like this, you know, it was kind of had to just go slowly up, you know, I had to go upwards very slowly, and but it helps, and it helps now knowing, you know, when I'm out on the court, even if it's a 3-setter, I know that I've done a lot tougher workouts in the gym, and that's a good feeling to have, knowing that I'm not going to physically have any problems unless, you know, the emotions and the nerves and the stress, obviously, that you have in a match are not there when you're working out in the gym or anything.
Obviously, Kim, there's a lot of anticipation about Serena possibly facing you, but have you been watching Panetta very much, and what do you think about her?
I have, especially in these last few weeks playing. You know, she's a good friend, and I was extremely happy for her when she reached the top 10 ranking a couple of weeks ago. I think it was after Cincinnati. She got to her first you know, top 10 ranking. So that was really nice to just see that. You know, she's worked very hard, and she's a fun girl as well. She you know, she's improved her game. I think when I played in Rosemile, and I played an exhibition a few weeks ago, and I was hitting with her on the grass a little bit, and what I've noticed in her game is that she's really become more aggressive. You know, she used to be a player who never really missed a lot, but kind of just rallied a lot of balls back, and I think against the top players, you know, we always felt like, you know, her you know, ball strokes were kind of always at a nice kind of height where we could really step in and just hit a lot of winners off, and I think now she's kind of worked out a game for her that you know, she can still be that consistent and still bring a lot of balls back, but also, you know, take those few steps forward when she gets a short ball and go for winners. And that's something that the biggest thing that I noticed in Rosemile and then already was that she's not shy anymore of you know, getting in, stepping in, and just going for a few more winners. And you know, that was the biggest change that I saw in her game.
Thanks very much.
In the second set, after 2-0, you seem to be struggling physically. Do you feel as physically fit as you did 2 years ago?
Well, sorry?
Sorry. In the second set, after 2-0, you seem to be struggling physically.
Really?
Do you feel as physically fit as you did 2 years ago?
Yeah, like I said, I even feel better physically, just because, you know, I've been able to work. I've had a lot of time to work on my physical weaknesses in the past, just because I had, you know, 7-8 months where I could just really focus on those things, and you know, also because it was necessary. So I really, you know, I'm out there, you know, enjoying every ball I can run to without worrying about you know, anything being sore. So it's a good feeling to have, and so no, I actually didn't feel like I was struggling too much out there physically.
Thank you.
No problem.